The journey home. Leonardo saw the many boats docked at the pier and they were filled with soldiers. They raised the colorful flags of Igothantia that were red, white and blue colors. We will take the path to the east for it is much safer to travel from there. The boats behind us will move southwards while the others will sail to the west, to the Red Land, Yugoda told. As he and Yugoda went up the deck the soldiers bowed their heads to him. Yugoda gave the order and almost simultaneously, the boats raised their sails as many horns sounded. The boats headed in different directions. The boat carrying Leonardo and Yugoda was following the first 10 boats that headed east. Leonardo saw the others moving westwards and about 3 of them went towards the south carrying the 500 sumiks that will sail towards Tuz. Hours passed until the edges of Nosnev land came into their view. It was still and there was no sign of life except the trees and the birds flying all over. They continued their sail for another hour until they were seeing the vastness of Nosnev in the east. They saw from afar the Vamoth warriors waving at them as Yugoda gave the order to dock. When they reached Nosnev, Leonardo watched the boats unloaded several hundred armies of Igothantia that were met by the Vamoths. It was nice seeing you again, Yato remarked while shaking the large hand of Yugoda. You too my friend, Yugoda replied. What can you tell me? The Malservius are still at our west end. They are camping there but not making any move towards here. It was pretty much quiet back there. How many are they? Maybe less than 1,000. We don't know what they are up to. Maybe they are there to ambush anyone that will pass the great river in the west. If they are just that much we can send them away with my army. Yugoda called upon one of his soldiers and gave an order. I will be leaving 2,000 soldiers with you. Let them to where the enemies are. They know what to do. Where are you going? We will sail east to Garadia then cross the country to attack from the east side where the Mals are believed to be are. We can come with you. We know the terrains at Garadia. We can help, Lakhiji, Anuga spoke. We need all the help that we can have in this journey. Please, you are welcome to join us. Yugoda, I will send with you a few of my warriors too. They may not be able to fight like you but they can aid the sick and the wounded, Zif, the chief Vamoth remarked. Thank you Zif. We have not met the Garadians before in their own land and we wonder if they will allow us to cross their country. I cannot assure that they will allow you especially if they see with you some of the Vamoths and the Nugas. We had a bad history with them. They may perceive you as enemies and therefore may not allow you to step onto their soils without any resistance. I think it is much better if you will pass by the other land after Garadia. Simphus Lakhiji uttered. Yes, Simphus. No, that land is evil. No one lives there and anyone who went there never returned. You know this Zif. Yes, but those were stories from the old. I have not heard that it happened again. Maybe it is okay now. Zif, you have not heard because no one dared to go inside it anymore, Lakhiji insisted. What is it in Simphus? Leonardo asked. It is just a forest. Long ago there were kinds who lived there called the Nits and they vanished without a trace. The Garadians tried to invade the Nits then but they were unsuccessful. The Grenks too but they suffered the same fate as the Garadians. The Nits were good warriors. One day, they just disappeared. The Garadians and the Grenks thought they left the forest and migrated to other lands. The Garadians and the Grenks tried to occupy Simphus and as a result they made war with each other. They fought for the ownership of Simphus and while fighting inside, the large army of Garadians and the Grenks just disappeared without a trace. No one knew what happened to them. All that were found were their weapons, horses and a few clothes but their bodies were nowhere. Since then, no one ventured inside the forest of Simphus anymore, Lakhiji remarked. Then, we have no choice but to pass through Garadia and hope that they welcome us, Yugoda remarked. I take back what I said. I think they will welcome you Yugoda. Not because you look friendly but because they will see that they are no match against your large army. They will elect to offer truce with you. They are not that kind who will die for their land. They always seek ways to make peace with those much powerful than them. I just hope that they haven't sold their souls yet to the Malservius. Otherwise, you may be the one surprised, Zif remarked. Why don't we break our forces into two? Leonardo interrupted. Yugoda, Zif, and Lakhiji looked at him. What do you mean? Yugoda asked. One force will cross Garadia and the other force will cross the Simphus forest. The way I am figuring out all these is that there is danger in these two places. One from a known kind called the Garadians and the other from the unknown kinds called the Nits. If the Nits are no longer there then we are crossing an empty forest where it is much safer than crossing Garadia with inhabitants of uncertain behavior, Leonardo remarked. Yugoda was in thoughts. He nodded and gave an order to Omar. Omar, you lead the army that will cross the Simphus forest and I will take Garadia. I will go with Omar. No, Leonardo. You should come with me. I am responsible for you and I don't want anything to happen to you. Leonardo stared at Yugoda. If something will happen to me it will happen. No one can prevent nature from taking its own course Yugoda. Besides, I think it is much safer to cross Simphus than Garadia. Tututata told me that he and a few others crossed the forest at Simphus before. They went okay. Tututata is a Nuga. In that case, I will go with you through Symphus and Oma shall take Garadia instead. We must go now.